Hello, lovely people. I hope you're all having a wonderful day and you're all safe and happy. So, today I wanted to talk about how to become an energetic match for everything that you want to create and bring into your life. So, right now in my private Facebook group or on Facebook, excuse me, what I've been doing is facial analysis. And the interesting thing with facial analysis, all these things that I do in my group on Facebook are all really contribute and go together and are intertwined to making us feel good. Because when we are healthy, when our body is not, stressing and working overtime and super hard to just manage a sense of balance in our life, in our body, and when our mind is not working overtime and, struggling every day, our body will be in a good space where we're able to then create wellness and love and abundance, all of those things. So I thought I would do a video today on the becoming an energetic match just because I've spent this past week doing the facial analysis and I kind of wanted to switch gears, but it's still all along the same baseline of health and wellness and abundance. So I also have coming up May 15th, I have a 3-week journey on how to become the architect of your reality, the architect of your life. And I love talking about this topic with friends, with clients, with my group members, because it really is the key to having everything that you want in your life. And I'm going to throw in there as I say that there is divine timing, of course. Things, will show up in divine timing. But here's the thing, truly, is that everything that we want and need is not outside of us, it's already within us. And so it's really easy to become an energetic frequency and an energetic match because we all know that we have to become a frequency. We have to have our vibration needs to be high because, and our brain and our heart need to be coherent. And that's how we access the quantum field to where we're able to bring in anything we want. And so, some people might say, well, it seems like other people have an easier time to manifest, and I'm having a really hard time. And time again, time and time again, no matter what person I'm talking to, when they have a question like that for me, there's always something that's missing. And I know what that's missing. It is a vibration. It's a frequency. It's their energy needs to raise and become higher. So I have a client that I talk to that, you know, um, they're not in the space that they want to be in at this time. And they try and they try and they feel like they take a step forward and a step back. So I got into a conversation and just a normal conversation, and asked some questions. And the thing that I realized and that she discovered as well through this is that the reason why she takes a step forward and 2 steps back is because that's the story that she created. That was something that she heard her mom talk about. It's something that from the moment that she got married and then went through a struggle in the marriage and then the marriage ended and then things became really hard for her, was that it was just something, a statement she threw out that she didn't even think about. It was just a statement, a blanket statement. But the thing is that when we have statements like that, that affects our reality. And it's hardwired to something in the past from her childhood to a moment or an event. And at that moment, whether she heard someone say that, she took that information inside her and it became just a piece of who she was, but it became an unconscious piece. So it's hard to become the energetic match for trying to manifest something when you think that, well, if I take a step forward, then something will happen and I'll take two steps back. And so it's this forward movement going back, forward movement, something happens, forward movement, you know, um, spiraling out of control. And it's because that's a story that's constantly, or a thought that's constantly running in the background all the time. I'm just trying to think of another example. I'm sure if you all thought about something that was talked about or thrown around in your family that, when you hear people say, oh, yeah, that's my grandma's favorite saying or my mom's favorite saying, when we really can go within ourselves and look at those and try to identify those statements, which again are normally 95% of the time they're going to be at an unconscious level, we need to start to identify those statements and those thoughts that are unconscious so that we can replace it with something different. So instead of saying, I generally what happens is I'll take a step forward and then something happens and I'm two steps behind. Instead of saying that, you have to replace that statement with something like, every time I take a step forward, I'm like, everything falls into place with ease and I catapult myself forward. Even if you just say, when I take a step forward, just everything opens up and everything becomes easy for me and to attract wealth or to attract clients, which is what this particular client of mine is trying to do, is to attract clients into their life. And then when you do that, you almost have to anchor that thought into your body because just saying it once doesn't really do anything. And so, really, I always tell people, like, and pardon me because I'm going to be kind of loud here for a moment. And sorry about my messy box. I didn't think about that. That's my junk box. Um, so I might say something. So as I'm having a conversation with someone, but if you're on your own in your house and you're going to do this on your own, it would just be something like switching that statement. We'll take that statement and go, yes, you know what? Every time I take a step forward, boom, it just everything opens up. All these opportunities come to me with flow and ease. Yes. And I mean, it's kind of loud. I apologize if I scared anyone. But it's anchoring. And so whether it's a snap or clapping your hands or stomping your foot at that time, it's doing something like that that almost forces it within your body. And now this is something that I learned from Anthony Robbins, is the anchoring. And so if you want to, learn about that a little bit more, you can Google or go onto YouTube, find Anthony Robbins anchoring. That's how I remember it from years ago taking strategic intervention. But um, you know, you can do your own due diligence around that. But I just find that that's really good. And, there's always these tricks that we can help us to remember, like writing it down 3 times, saying it 3 times. I'm horrible with names. I'm horrible with birth dates. So sometimes, writing it down multiple times or saying it over and over again would help to um, help your body to remember and help the brain then to remember it a little easier. So the point of that is just first, um, how we become an energetic match is by trying to sit and settle and go within and think back to, you know, what are some of the blanket statements that our parents used to make? Things like, there's other videos that I have on my channel about, my mom one day said to me, do you think those kids up there in the penthouse are happy? They have nannies, this and that. And, like money doesn't grow on trees. So there were certain blanket statements that were made. And until I really thought about it and took the time to go back into my childhood, and kind of reflect on my life, and always our inner world is reflected in our outer world. And so if you know, if people say, well, maybe I won't remember. Yes, you will, because if you look at your life, where are you in your life? What's reflected on the outside? Are you overweight? Do you have addictions? Do you struggle with anxiety, with doubt, fears? Are you, running around hustling, having two or three jobs? All of that stuff you could look at, because you know where inside, when your life is reflecting that to you, that there's some thoughts that are at an unconscious level that are floating around somewhere in your psyche. And so we can begin to identify those thoughts and blanket statements so that we can redo them. Um, and so that's one thing that we have to do. And the other thing we have to do is, again, really assess our health and our well-being. So, do you have vitality? Do you have vibrancy? Are you joyful? Anytime, sometimes, like, we all have our days. I have days I get out of bed and I want nothing to do with being on video or being around people. And I just feel really low energy, or I get overwhelmed when I'm trying to deal with technology. And, you know, I'm not talking about those days. I'm talking about when it starts to affect your life and your everyday. So, maybe you've been dealing with a struggle or a challenge in your life. Something happened um, in your life right now that's been making things difficult for you for the past month, or the past 3 months, or 6 year or 6 months, or a year. That's what I'm talking about. Is are you dealing with some health issues that have kept you low vibe and kept your energy down for months? And so looking at that and really evaluating where, what's going on in the body and in your lifestyle. What are the choices that you're making? Really, you have to do all of those things. And I know some people might give you quicker steps, but for me, I'm kind of like a whole, um, there's everything really comes into play. And without, you can't just sometimes go to one thing and, okay, so for instance, my client, she changed that one thing, but if she didn't talk about her health and, look at her emotional state, her wellness state, her physical health, her life situation and circumstances, if she didn't really look at all of those areas, it's not just going to change by that one area. So that's why I'm really a big believer in looking at the whole, holistically looking at every person and their situation. Um, so, our health really, when we're ill or struggling with a disease, it is hard to do anything. And I understand that, because I had years ago a diagnosis of fibromyalgia, and at the time I had a 9 to 5 job. That was when I was a counselor in a women's shelter, and I struggled every day. And there was no way at that time that I could have manifested the perfect life, but I did manifest a life change for sure, But it took me probably about a year after I got the fibromyalgia and the symptoms under control, which were mainly the fatigue. Once I got that and my feet, once I got that under control, then I could deal with kind of just this low. I mean, I definitely wasn't a high vibe person at that time, but I definitely dealt with the biggest issues that were keeping me down. And then because that I saw how ill I was and how, I came to a decision. There's no way that I want to stay in my career if it's causing me to be sick. And so, anyways, that's a whole different video and different story, but definitely I left my career of over 20 plus years, sold my home, took my two kids, and made a move to a small town in the mountains where I started my healing journey. So, it does happen definitely. And um, and then that from there absolutely catapulted my life forward in so many good ways. So looking at the blanket statements and the thoughts that we have at an unconscious level, looking at that, looking at the state of our health, and remembering our energy centers um, when our energy centers are, when our health is not that great and we're not that vibrant or joyful, we have low energy, we're exhausted, we're overwhelmed. Looking at our energy centers, because our energy centers house our organs and our ligaments and fluids and everything. So, um, I always say that the first three energy centers have to do with those are the energy centers of survival, of lack, but also our power, our confidence, and our feelings of groundedness in the physical world. And so, really looking at and going through every energy center and evaluating that. Now, if you want me to do a video on all of the chakras, if you comment below chakras or energy centers, I will do a video on energy centers. Um, so that's the third thing to becoming an energetic match. So the fourth thing is really looking at emotions. What's our emotional state every day? And again, we're just doing a complete overhaul. Energetic, vibrationally, physically, and our mental wellness as well. Looking at all of those things is the only way that we're going to really, clean out the cabinets, declutter our body and our mind and our energy so that we can become ultimately the energetic match for what we want to bring into our life. And so, um, okay, our emotional state. So every day, um, you know, if you if you have a friend and you talk to your friend every day, let's say, or once a week, you can always tell what their emotional state is, the main emotional state that they're always in, or that some people might look at them and go, well, that's just their personality. No, it is maybe their personality, of course, because our thoughts and our actions and our emotions create our personality, but it's also really their emotional state. And so from there, you know, if someone is, for instance, they go from elation to a spiral downturn. Yes, that's their personality because that's what's programmed into them, but they can change that. Um, or if someone is, let's say, happy all the time, chances are there's another emotion that they switch to. Not everyone is 100% happy all the time. There's going to be, they're going to feel tired. Happy people get overwhelmed. They get frustrated and angry. But there'll be one main or two main emotions that you will tend to see in yourself and in others. So have a look at that and think on that a little bit and see where what your emotional state is the majority of the time. And then evaluate that. If you're someone who goes from feeling great and positive to feeling really low energetically, hopeless, then then at least those are your two states, because you're going to want to bring that up and switch those states. So that would be the next thing. And then we're looking at the actions that we're taking in our life. We can't be someone who just, says, yes, I want to be the architect of my reality, and I want my energy to attract everything I want into my life. And then, sit on the couch eating Twinkies, watching TV all day and not doing anything. Or, for instance, someone that wants to bring clients in their life, but they maybe go from one or two steps instead of looking at all possibility. When we are thinking about our actions in our life and what we're trying to create, we have to take that responsibility. For instance, if we are someone who's overweight and we want to lose weight, we can't just say, I want to lose weight and I want to have the perfect body and that's what I want to attract into my life, and not look at the thoughts or the stories that we keep telling ourselves, not looking through our cupboards and fridge to see, you know, the majority of the foods that we keep in there, and sitting on the couch and not moving at all or doing any kind of form of exercise. The actions will speak louder than words. So we have to look at our actions that we're taking on a daily basis as well when we want to bring something into our life and manifest. So those are some steps there that we want to look at, those all those steps in there, those 4 steps, I believe. But when we want to also become an energetic match for what we want to bring into our life, we have to take responsibility for that. And how we're going to do that is by doing the work every day. I want to be able to, help so many people on this planet. And I love it when I work with a client and they end up feeling better. And I can see that shift and see that shift in their face. I can feel that shift in their energy. And when they succeed, then I feel fantastic that I've been able to help someone. But excuse me, I can't just sit and create and create and create and not take any action and expect me to reach um, that vibrational match for what I want. So every day that means I need to do the work. So doing the work is all the 4 steps that I said, but it's also getting really changing that state to bring up our energy, to be able to bring the heart and the brain into coherence, um, accessing the quantum, and really just becoming that person that I want to become. If I want to become a 5-figure coach or a 6-figure coach, then I need to become that. I need to match. My actions have to match what it is that I want. My energy has to match that. And I think when they're looking at, increasing financial income, and they're just going for that money match, money, you know, you know, uh, money, okay, well, if I just want to make money, there's not much of a vibration there, is there? Who do I want to be to get that money? I want to be someone who goes to bed every night feeling absolutely fulfilled, that I know that I did my part and I affected or impacted, 5 people a day. And then I would feel great if I was able to help shift people's energy, to help give them what they want in their life, and or to help heal them or bring love into their life, then I'm going to feel fulfilled. So if that's what I want to do and to bring in to match that frequency, it's not about the money. It's about the feeling of being that coach that impacts 5 people a day, that sees changes in their life because of that. So every night going to bed knowing that, wow, like I helped 5 people today, or I helped 10 people today, but I was able to, give people new insight or new ideas, and hopefully, they're working on that. I want to match just that feeling and emotion of being what it is that I want to bring. The money just comes from that. The money will flow in, or sometimes it's a lifestyle. I don't want to have to hustle in my life. I want my life to just be peaceful and flow. So, really, being in that energy of flow and of peace, not grinding, not getting upset or frustrated. If you are someone who says, I want to have that peace and harmony in my life, and yet your actions every day are honking, giving people the finger, cursing them, all through your day, you're obviously not the energetic match for being the peace in peace and harmony. So you want to be in that emotion all day. And in order to do that, you have to do all those 4 steps. You have to evaluate different areas, different thoughts, different, unconscious thoughts, your health, your energy levels, your vitality levels. Really have to, have an assessment done on all of those things. It's like, I believe I did a video on your energy audit, right? Looking at where our energy is, where are we focusing our energy? How does our energy feel throughout the day? And looking after it and balancing it when we see it drop down. So that's really, really important, is just to the become the feeling, the emotion of what it is that you want to bring into your life. Um, I'll have to uh, tell you, there was, a time when I think about, when were the times where things shifted for me the most? And there's a few, multiple times that I can tell you about, but um, changing my lifestyle was a really big one. And really what happened for me at that point was, I guess, the feeling and the health, the state of my health at that time was so bad that I was forced to make that change, that there was nothing else. It's almost like a do or die kind of feeling too. It's like, no, I want to wake up every morning and every day I want to have dot, dot, dot. I see things shift a lot quicker when it's, dire needs. Most people look after or take care of their health when they've hit rock bottom. Don't let it get to that point, because we are this animal or species that we have that opportunity to already become the person that we want our future self to be. We can have the feeling of the circumstances in our future that we want to have. We can already right now experience becoming that person and experience the emotion around what it is that we want to be or create in the future. So I hope that's helped, and I look forward to the next time. And please, what I have noticed is that a lot of people watch my videos, but no one subscribes, and I really do endeavor to make more and create videos. And when I'm not trying to fumble around with my funnels and making them, I am able to create my videos. And there's lots more content that I'll create in the near future. So if you don't mind liking and subscribing, please, that really helps. And um, just please remember, put in a comment energy or chakra or energy center if you want me to do a video on the energy centers or the chakras. Thanks so much today. Hit the like, subscribe, and comment. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day.